Now he wondered if something else had always been at work. The next morning, news arrived that chilled him more than the October wind rattling his windows. Timothy Walsh, the recent graduate, had been killed in a car accident on Highway 59. The newspaper called it a single-vehicle collision, the car veering off the road and striking a bridge abutment at high speed. Nathaniel phoned his friend, Detective Ray Carver, who worked accidents for the Lawrence Police Department. Timothy Walsh, Ray said when Nathaniel asked about the crash. 22 years old. Whole life ahead of him. Damn sad thing, though. No skid marks, no signs he tried to brake or swerve. Almost like he aimed for that bridge. Suicide? Nathaniel asked. His own voice sounded strange to his ears. That's what we're thinking. But the family swears he had everything to live for. New job, girlfriend, all that. Sometimes people hide their pain better than we know. After hanging up, Nathaniel went to his filing cabinet and pulled out Timothy's portraits. The young man had been so enthusiastic during the session, talking about his future while Nathaniel worked. He had proudly shown a job offer letter from an engineering firm in Kansas City. His joy was real, not something faked. In the photographs, Timothy's smile was bright, his eyes full of anticipation. And behind him, barely visible against the brick wall of the downtown studio, stood the same shadowy figure that had appeared in Mrs. Kensington's portrait. Nathaniel spent the rest of the morning in his darkroom, making enlarged prints of every photograph that contained the figure. As the images emerged from the developer, details appeared that he had missed before. The figure wasn't just standing behind his subjects, it was reaching toward them, indistinct arms stretched out as if in embrace or supplication. By afternoon, nearly 40 prints covered every surface in the room. The progression was clear. In the earliest photographs from 6 weeks ago, the figure was little more than a blur, something that could have been dismissed as a shadow or processing error. But with each new session, it became more distinct. In Mrs. Kensington's portrait, it was fully human in form, if not in substance. At 3 o'clock, the phone rang. Helen Henderson was calling to cancel the anniversary portrait. Robert passed yesterday, she said, her voice hollow. Just sat down in his chair after lunch, and that was it. His heart just stopped. Nathaniel closed his eyes. Robert Henderson had been 81, an age when death is not unusual. But the timing was too perfect to ignore. 3 subjects, 3 days, all dead within 24 hours of their portrait sessions. Mrs. Henderson, he asked carefully, did Robert mention seeing anything unusual during our session? Anything that unsettled him? Now that you mention it, he did act strange. Kept looking over his shoulder, like he thought someone was there. He asked me several times if I'd heard footsteps in the house. That evening, Nathaniel sat with a glass of bourbon, trying to make sense of it all. The rational part of his mind, the part that had spent 3 decades with f-stops and shutter speeds, with the reality of light on film, insisted there had to be a logical explanation. Camera malfunction, double exposure, coincidence stacked on coincidence until it only looked like a pattern. But another part of him whispered otherwise. His grandfather had believed in such things, had told stories about photographers who caught glimpses of the spirit world, about cameras that served as windows between the living and the dead. A camera sees truth, his grandfather had said, sometimes truth we'd rather not see. Nathaniel walked to the mantel and picked up one of his favorite photographs, his grandfather in the darkroom, taken shortly before the old man's death in 1978. The image had always been special to him, a bridge between generations of photographers. But now, looking with new eyes, his blood froze. There, faint in the shadows behind his grandfather, stood the same figure, the same posture, the same reaching gesture, as if it had been waiting all along. The Clark family portrait had been scheduled for Saturday morning, but Nathaniel woke before dawn, certain he could not let it happen. At 6:30, he phoned Susan Clark, inventing an emergency. "But the children are so excited," she protested. "We've been planning this for months." "I'll reschedule as soon as I can," Nathaniel promised, though he doubted he ever would. Instead of working, he spent the day buried in books and manuals, searching for any reference to supernatural phenomena in photography. Most of it was folklore, Victorian spirit photographs, tales of cameras capturing souls, images that moved when no one was watching. But then, in a 1923 monograph on photographic anomalies, he found something chillingly familiar. A case study from Salem, Massachusetts. A photograph.